Well, Shades of Pink, a powerful real-life story about surviving cancer. It's coming to the stage this month at Joe's Movement Emporium in Mount Rainier. Three special ladies are joining us tonight to talk about this story: Tallulah Anderson, Ricky Fairley, and Shantae Drakeford. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, first, let me start with just asking about the purpose of this organization.
Okay, so 2 for 2 Boobs is a local organization that I started here in Prince George's County about, say, 10 years ago, and we advocate for self-breast checks. So my call out is 2 for 2 Boobs, but take 2 minutes to check your 2. And one of the things that we also advocate for is for survivors, to empower them to tell their stories. So I've done many events here where I showcase their stories, and I wanted to bring them to life. So this is the opportunity to share their stories in a monologue style, but featuring music, dance, poetry, and letting them tell their stories their way, and bringing, inspiring and educating, and bringing to the forefront the importance of being your own advocate in self-breast checks.
So talk a little bit more about these self-breast checks. How do you go about advocating that? What do women need to know?
So women need to know that what I say is just take 2 minutes once a month, just to do your self-breast exam. So we provide shower cards and information on how to do a self-breast check, and not just for women, men too. They need to check themselves, and if you feel or at least even see something that does not feel or look right, to talk to your doctor about it and be your best advocate. Don't ignore the signs.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the signs and the symptoms of breast cancer.
So all of that, Ricky is part of, you could tell her your organization.
Sure. I'm the vice president of for strategic planning for Sisters Network, Inc. And we are a 25-year-old organization, really the only national Black breast cancer organization in the country. And so, you can't prevent breast cancer, but you can early detect it. So that's why the self-exam is so important. We tell everybody, check the breast that you love. We know you have a pair. But the statistics for African American women are just crazy right now, that actually right now 42% of Black women, the mortality rate for Black women is 42% higher than white women for breast cancer. And we are dying in incredible numbers. It's really the most fatal disease that Black women face right now.
Why do you think that is? Is there research on why that is?
There's a lot of factors. One of them is the kind of breast cancer that I had, which is triple-negative breast cancer. It's the most aggressive. It has the highest mortality rate, and it's the only breast cancer that does not have a drug to prevent recurrence. And it comes back very aggressively. So that's affecting we get it at 3 times the rate of white women. But a lot of factors, financial factors, but really not checking our breasts on a regular basis is what a lot of it is, just getting the disease at a late stage.
Let's talk about mammograms and the importance of them, and are they fail-proof?
I would say not necessarily. There can be false negatives with some mammograms, but both in hand, your breast checks and mammograms is helpful. For me, it was a mammogram. I did feel something first, but then, and I was followed closely because my mom and my dad both had breast cancer, so they followed me very closely. And I was given mammograms early in life. So for me, I think it was safe to do so. And I know they raised the age, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, and have an early detection through a mammogram or a self-breast check. So yes.
So genetics clearly play an important part of this.
I would say that the mammograms are really the protocol for checking for breast cancer. The problem, I think, is that is the age in which you get them. Yeah. So for African American women under 35, like our dear Shantae here, get breast cancer at twice the rate and die at 3 times the rate. And so they're not getting a mammogram yet, because the recommendation is 40 and 50 depending on the state. So though mammograms are out there, they're not helping us.
So Ms. Drakeford, you've been living with metastatic stage 4 cancer. Tell us about your experience.
Since the age of 25, I've been having benign conditions such as nipple discharge, fiber-cystic breast, and all I was given was ultrasounds. They wouldn't give me a mammogram because of my age. And I would try to advocate. I'm a nurse by profession, so I would try to advocate and try to catch anything as early as I could. But since I was young, it's hard. So one day I had a cyst, and it soon turned hard. And that was about 4 years ago in 2015. I was 31 years old. I'm 35 now. I won't have any chance of remission. This is a terminal illness for me. It has spread to my lungs, my hip, my spine, my ribs, and there is long-term treatment, but I will always have to be on treatment. I always have to get scans every 3 months just to make sure that the cancer hasn't spread. So basically the medications that I am on is keeping everything at bay. So yes, we preach early detection, but I just think that if we were to get screened way younger, at 25 I was having issues. Who knows, it could have always been cancer. And I tried my hardest to catch it because early, but I was initially stage 4.
What do you think needs to be done in order to bring attention to people who may be in a similar case as you?
Just doing things like this, just kind of talking about it. People are afraid of the word stage 4 or metastatic. They think always that you instantly die, and sometimes that's the case. But most of the time, I've met many of ladies and that have lived with this disease in particular for about 15 years with metastatic breast cancer. And there's been constant advances in the medications, but it's not a lot of research being done for metastatic in particular. It's only 2% of the money that's going to metastatic breast cancer because I guess it's the sensation that what's the use, we're gonna die terminally anyway, so why we just put our money into the early stages because we know we can cure them. But there is a 30% chance of it returning, and then at that point, it becomes more than likely metastatic.
So just briefly, how do you advocate for yourself?
For me, I just tell women, and especially young ladies, don't be afraid to touch your breast. Really speak up about it. If you are afraid, it's just kind of adhere things. Just always, just be aware of your body.
Know you're normal. Know you're normal. Know your body. Check your breast.
And when it's abnormal, obviously speak up, try to get help.
And don't let doctors dismiss you. You know, like when you're young, you go to the doctor. Make them take you seriously.
Great advice, and ladies, we want to wish you our best for both of you here. So, great organization. Again, the Shades of Pink, Our Voices, Our Stories takes place on September 25th at Joe's Movement Emporium in Mount Rainier. For more information, you can follow Tallulah Anderson on Facebook and Instagram at the address listed on the screen.